Arsenal and Chelsea have called their interest and are stepping away from a deal for Nico Williams. Both the English clubs have been pursuing the Spanish winger, for over 12 months and saw him as a high priority signing. But according to reports from The Athletic and David Ornstein this morning, they have called their interest and stepped away as a deal to Barcelona moves closer. Bayern Munich still in the race, looking to increase their offer. We want your reaction to this, one of the most sought after and coveted players in world football, potentially on his way to either the juggernauts of Barcelona, the powerhouse of Bayern. But Chelsea and Arsenal seemingly have pulled away. Hit the like buttons. Make sure you're subscribing. Let's do this. Good morning. An early stream today with big breaking news that we could not ignore. A huge bomb from Fabrizio Romano, from David Ornstein. I was actually just reading Fabrizio's thread just then in relation to Nico Williams. This actually makes a lot of sense after seeing the news last night in relation to Malik Fofana and the link to Chelsea, which we will delve into a little bit more. Nico Williams close with an Arsenal shirt. No, the thumbnail is he's wearing a Spain shirt, you moron. That's what happens when you come into a stream with a negative disposition as a human being. Please get off the stream, go for a walk, get in touch with nature, spend some time with friends and family, my friend. Spend some time with friends and family. It's quite clearly, since when did Arsenal play in a shirt that looks like the Spain shirt with the gold stripes? Go boil your head, my old mate. You shouldn't be on the internet when you feel the way you do. You cannot be on the internet when you feel this way, most wanted. Go touch grass. But look, the story's out from David Ornstein. We're going to delve into this in a bit more detail here. It says, welcome to the third edition of the Athletics transfer deal sheet for the summer of 2025. It says, okay, Adim, right, it goes here. The opening 4 or 5 paragraphs are not about this deal, and I was reading it going, okay, what's going on? It says here, the summer transfer window is now fully open, and there are 2.5 months for deals to go ahead. Amongst the most notable cases are involving Nico Williams. The winger has been targeted by many leading clubs over a considerable period. But despite Premier League sides being in his admirers, Barcelona and Bayern Munich are emerging as the more plausible destinations for the 22-year-old international if he leaves Athletic Club. Arsenal and Chelsea have somewhat cooled their pursuit, and that increases the chances of others in the frame stepping up their interest. Now, we often know that when it comes down to clubs calling their interest, you know me, I'm going to keep it 100. My club does this, I say the same thing. That's typically speaking because you're being told by that player he has a preferred destination elsewhere, or your personal terms have not been agreed in principle. You often see that phrase being used, Man United and Ekatike yesterday, personal terms will be no problem. Clubs don't typically call their interest if personal terms are no problems, and if a player is openly interested in joining you and is weighing up their options. You look at Man United with Gyökeres. We know that Arsenal are the lead candidate, but there's a chance that Arsenal don't go for him. There's a chance the player becomes ours, so we're there pursuing him. So Chelsea and Arsenal pulling away, I think, is significant. It tells you there's either been the players turn them down, the wage demands are too high, or he has a massive preference to go elsewhere. The talk around Barcelona, when you read the Barcelona press, they feel like they are very close to agreeing a deal, to a point where Nico Williams has said that he is willing to take a big pay cut, a huge pay cut based on the previous demands to join Barcelona. And that is probably the chief catalyst in why, although Arsenal have made some big bids and made some big offers, has been bids into the players' camp, although Chelsea have spoke to the camp, they're probably looking to walk away because the fact that the player is willing to say, okay, everybody else, I want 250 grand a week, 300 grand a week, but Barca, I'll do it for 150, I'll do it for 180, I'll do it for 200,000. That is an indication of a true desire to join them. That all being said, it says here that Barcelona are pushing hard and carry an appeal to Williams, especially given his close bond with Lamine Yamal, his teammate for Spain, plus Liverpool's reluctance to do business for Luis Diaz. So Liverpool are also helping this situation. Barcelona, according to most reports, see the potential signing of Luis Diaz as more desirable. The problem they have is that Liverpool are not doing the business at the rate that Barcelona want it. So this is what's so interesting about this story. Barca prefer Luis Diaz. Nico Williams prefers Barca, but Liverpool won't do business. So Liverpool inadvertently, via a proxy essentially, are stopping the Arsenals, stopping the Chelseas from maybe being able to turn the head more of Nico Williams. He says initially they preferred the candidate. They still do. But there we go. Barcelona already have Rafinha in this position, and it's also complicated for them to register new squad members due to their financial health. And Ornstein is right when he says that. The problem is, though, you know, and I know, we both know this, right? That Barca will find a way. They always do. However, they are trying to make it happen. Bayern are believed to have conveyed an offer to the player, and a second may follow as the German champions weigh up multiple options to strengthen in wide areas. Wirtz of Leverkusen was their top target, but he has opted for Liverpool. While it is probable that Barcola, another liked by Bayern, will remain at Paris Saint-Germain. So it looks like Barcola is off the market as of right now, according to Mr. Ornstein. Milan's Rafael Leao and Matoma from Brighton are also linked to a move to Bayern Munich. So what does this mean for Arsenal? What does this mean for Chelsea? Well, we'll start with Chelsea when it comes to this breakdown. We saw the big breaking news last night about Malik Fofana. Now, some may think, well, they've already got the Gittins deal rolling in. Why would they need Fofana? Well, clearly they were pursuing Nico Williams as well. So could Chelsea's option be, we'll go for Gittins still, and then we'll look at Fofana. That gives us great firepower, brilliant ability to come in and play for us next season in our wide positions. It, in many people's eyes, more than covers for the outgoing Jadon Sancho, also gives them a little bit of extra bite. I think that Chelsea will have some exits as well. I think there's a number of players that Tariq George could potentially go out on loan. There's no doubt about that. The great thing about Fofana is he can play left and he can play on the right-hand side. He's done that throughout his youth and his club career. So there are multiple options here at play for Chelsea. Chelsea seem to be slightly more advanced in their pursuit of a wide player, and that's to be expected considering they've already landed their chief target in attack, which is Liam Delap. He is the number 9. And yesterday, David Ornstein reported that was a priority position and it's been filled. No suggestion from him that a second striker at this point is being pursued. But of course, that can change because if they don't land Fofana, if they don't land Gittins, they may decide, well, actually, for the time being, we'll keep Madueke, we'll keep George at the club. We maybe move Jackson into the wide positions where needed, and we'll go for another number 9, maybe someone like Ekitike that they're looking at, who's seemingly available for around 63 to 70 million pounds. So a number of options there for Chelsea. When it comes to Arsenal, that is where the situation is really interesting because it's been widely reported Nico Williams has been the number 1 target for a couple of years. We've covered multiple stories on this. Some saying that terms have been agreed in principle, some saying that big offers are going in. And look, we always report on the news as we see it, like this story this morning. It's what we're hearing, so we react to it. We tell you what they're saying, but you're always entitled to your own opinions as we give ours. There's, of course, the links to Rodrigo that have come up, the links to Garnacho that have come up. But it's certainly an area that Arsenal have to tackle. And missing out on a long-standing high-level target like Nico Williams is going to be painful. It is going to be frustrating. It's not as though Arsenal have done no work, but this always happens when you chase. It's why what Liverpool have done with Wirtz is so amazing, because typically speaking, when you chase the best Spanish players with the Spanish giants interested, when you chase the best Germans with the biggest German clubs interested, Italians, etc., it's a very hard sell. And the reason it's a hard sell is because those players grow up in those countries and they see, just like in England, when maybe we view it differently as fans because you grow up as a Chelsea fan and it's like, well, I hate Arsenal, I hate Manchester United. Football players have a slightly different mindset to fans because they actually have a chance of being footballers. Most of us know by the time we're 10 or 11 that we're never going to be professional football players. And in reality, we know, you're playing on the park and there's two kids that are just so much better than everybody else. And they're getting dropped from academies. You think, oh, maybe I'll get spotted. You won't. In reality, you're not going to get spotted. So it's one of those situations where when you look at it now, Arsenal have tried, but they've failed to land this player. This happened. It's normal. Arsenal have got to wipe their mouths and move on. Let's see what happens with Rodrigo. Let's see if that can be a player that's prized away. Leroy Sané has gone. Leroy Sané is he may have already been announced. I haven't carried on following the news, but he looks like he's going to be a Galatasaray player. Williams seemingly looks done. Where do Arsenal go next with their wide players? I'd love to hear from you. Chelsea, as I say, seem in a better position due to their pursuits of Fofana and Gittins, and Garnacho is probably third on that list for them when you read the news articles. But what next for Arsenal? Because Arsenal need that left-sided attacker. They need to improve on Martinelli. A couple of their main targets this summer are going elsewhere, or the deals have cooled down. Rodrigo looks like a really hard sell at this point, or it's going to be a long, drawn-out saga. What do you all think should happen? I want to hear from you in the comments section below. And make sure, by the way, people, you're getting that like button hit for us this morning. Big up to everyone watching as well, by the way. Signing a wide player is a must for Arsenal. Anthony Gordon or Rodrigo or Bakayoko. Bakayoko, is that PSV's Bakayoko? He's very talented. Yeah, it's one of them. Sean, is stepping away the new rejected? No, Sean, it's always been a version of rejection. I'm just prepared to use that language. I use it about my own club. I've used it about your club, Liverpool, many times. The same as I used it about City a few weeks ago when they walked away from Wirtz. Typically, clubs only walk away from their main targets if they've got no chance of signing them. Why do they have no chance of signing them? Typically, it's because the player wants to go elsewhere. Some will call it journalists don't like to call it a rejection. Two reasons journalists don't like to do that, in my opinion. One, they don't want to burn. And this is a Liverpool fan, Sean, because your fan base are one of the chief protagonists in this conversation. As soon as a journalist writes something that is deemed negative about your club, you guys reject them and their news forever. So a journalist wants their news to be read. So the language has now changed from rejected Arsenal's offer, rejected Man United's offer, rejected Chelsea's offer, to preferred destination elsewhere. That way, it's a softer pill to swallow for the insensitive man children that all of our fan bases have. The second element is journalists are protecting themselves from a different type of abuse. Say they state today Gyökeres rejects Manchester United, but then Gyökeres changes his mind. The Man United man children will then start attacking those journalists. You were wrong. You're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. So it's just the language, as you say, that's being used. But that language has only come into play because fans are too immature, too immature, not grown enough, and cognitively cannot handle rejection. I think it's because their mummy did too much for them. They weren't made to do chores, and we're a bloated, spoilt generation. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. But yes, it is the new language. Man Child is a classic tune. I thought Gyökeres rejected United for Arsenal. How comes United haven't got it over the line yet? Well, that's because you obviously don't listen to the videos where we relay the news. You don't read the news articles. My suggestion is, my friend, listen more. But the reason why that it hasn't happened is Arsenal haven't executed a deal yet. So they're negotiating both deals. They're advancing both deals. They've agreed personal terms in principle on both deals. but they haven't decided yet which one they're going to fully execute and go for. So well documented, my friend. According to the French publication L'Equipe, Liverpool have started talks with the agents of Malik Fofana as well. Really? Where's that news from? Oh, L'Equipe. I mean, what I mean, I haven't seen that shared. Listen, if Liverpool, he's a really talented player. He came on against Manchester United. He came on against Manchester United in the Europa League. I thought he looked excellent. I really, really thought he looked excellent, dangerous. Such a tremendous talent there. There really, really is. So if that news is true, I haven't personally seen it. In fact, we could probably just search it. Malik Fofana, Liverpool. L'Equipe are a really good source in France as well, by the way. Yeah, I've just seen that now. I've been shared by Dave O.C. Kopp. Interesting. That'll be an interesting battle. But yeah, he's a real talent. And again, I can understand Liverpool going for an inexperienced player like him. If Diaz leaves, you add someone like Fofana in, that would be fantastic business. Sean here says Paul Joyce is a man-child. Absolutely agree. Well, it isn't the journalist; it's the fans that can't handle the truth. You see this all the time when a rival of Man United sign a player. The media outlet will find even if it's obscure, a link where United were interested in the player 6 months, a year, 5 years ago, and say we landed a United target. Because what it does, it feeds into the amoebas. Forget the kids. The kids are meant to enjoy it. It feeds into the amoebas that go, yeah, we beat United to him. The United-specific journalists now do it. The Arsenal ones do it. It's just we have a percentage of fans at all of our clubs who have very, very limited brain capacity when it comes to maturity. It's as simple as that. Arsenal already know what striker they want. Well, maybe that's the case internally, but certainly publicly, ABC 555, that isn't the case. Who do you think as well? Who do you think as well? You're going to go for in those wide positions if you are an Arsenal player. Marvo said it's only a question. Sorry if I came across a bit snappy there. I get a lot of trolls, and every now and then it's an early morning one, so I apologize if it came across that way, my friend. That wasn't my intention. Nico Williams is a spice Doku, Terry. He's better than Doku. Let's be honest about it. He really is. Rodrigo or Gordon. Now, listen, both of those players would be excellent for Arsenal. There is no doubt about that whatsoever. Both would be fantastic signings. I have to say about Anthony Gordon, I wasn't impressed in his first 18 months, 2 years, where he broke through at Everton, first little period at Newcastle. I saw a lot of speed, but he didn't move me. I'd watch his performances and go, okay, I just thought Stuart Downing. It's all that really burst into my mind was Stuart Downing. But I'd say in the last 12 months, my mind has been very much changed. Really complete performances, an eye for goal, creative, and he fits well within a strong system. And that's what's really important. He fits well within a strong system. So at Arsenal, he would do very, very well indeed. At Arsenal, just like at Newcastle, I think he would fit. He does what Martinelli does, but to a higher level, in my opinion. Rodrigo, look, Arsenal are there. There's so many reports confirming it, that Arsenal want him, that Arsenal are prepared to make big offers, that Arsenal are prepared to do whatever it takes to get him over the line. The issue is whether or not he wants to leave Real Madrid. I think if he doesn't get the game time, if he doesn't get the positions, I mean, I'm so intrigued to see Real Madrid's first game at the Club World Cup, the formation they use. And this is where this could help him. This could damage him, by the way. And what I mean by that is you've got this situation where you have this situation whereby there's a lot of talk that Alonso wants his players to run and everyone's got to track back and everyone's got to be part of a unified system. I felt all along that it's either going to be the making or the breaking of him. I think this appointment of Alonso is going to make Real Madrid a consistent powerhouse and one of the best footballing teams in the world, as in to watch systematically. or it's going to be a disaster. It will be a disaster if the Vinicius Juniors and more so the Mbappes say, hang on a minute, we don't do running. We don't do running. You adapt to us. They'll still win things because they have such an abundance of talent and you're able to do that. But I'm not sure if Alonso will handle that very well. That's where Rodrigo may come in, because if a player or two doesn't toe the party line, Rodrigo's the kind of individual that will work his backside off. But if he's going to be second fiddle, third fiddle, isn't going to have the position that he wants in the team, there is the potential for him to become available. But it is a long shot at this point. When do they play their first game, Real Madrid, in this tournament? Okay, they don't even play till... They play tomorrow, actually. They play tomorrow at 8 o'clock against Al Hilal. And it'll be interesting to watch, again, Rodrigo's position within that team. I think we are waiting for Rodrigo. You could be right. I mean, and you could find, to be fair, that's why you're not looking at Nico Williams. Let's wait for the dust to settle. That is just as plausible as you being rejected, that you have hope and you've been fed really good things back from the Madrid camp, that Rodrigo wants you. Now, I spoke about this maybe 2 weeks ago. It's a fair strategy to say, well, we're going to wait for our main target. The issue with waiting is there's a gamble. Sane's gone. Williams looks close to being a Barca player, or looks close to fully committing to Barcelona, which is 80% of the deal for them. Let's say Fofana joins Chelsea, Gittins joins Chelsea, Garnacho goes to Napoli. Let's say that Anthony Gordon signs a new deal and stays at Newcastle, all in the next 5 weeks, and you're still waiting for Rodrigo. It becomes Rodrigo or bust in relation to fixing that left-hand side, or improving that left-hand side is probably a better way to phrase it. So it's a gamble to wait when there's other talent available, if it's going to take all summer to get done. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting indeed. If Arsenal get both strikers, I'd play 3-5-2 in the attack and play Havertz off the left in defense. And second striker in attack off Gyökeres. What do you mean you play him off the left in defense? What do you mean, Shane? You play him in defense? You mean defensive midfield? Where would he play in that mid? I mean, you mean the left midfielder? The left off the left of the DM, you must mean. He could do that, but isn't that where Rice plays? If you guys went 3-5-2, so your back three would probably, I reckon, you go with a back three. I mean, you could go with a back three of White, or probably Kiwi or Gabriel Saliba. Left fullback. See, the thing is, you go left fullback. Where's Lewis Skelly going? Because he likes to invert. That's why he's so good at it. He's not really a touchline winger. Left back, is he? Ben White or Timber on the other side, that would make sense. Strikers, Gyökeres and Šeško. Where's Saka playing? No, you can't have that formation. Where would Saka go? Are you playing Saka wing back? No, I can't. I don't see how that works, Shane. Just saying it out loud. Yeah, I don't think that works for you guys personally. I don't think it works. Arsenal need to wrap this striker signing, get a cheap Saka back up, and then go all out for Rodrigo, even if it means selling Martinelli or Trossard. I don't care, is what AJ says here. Aya says, my biggest issue with Williams is that he needs 3 to 4 world-class players around him to look good, which is a concern, especially for the kind of money he is commanding for wages. Well, look, there are a lot of Arsenal fans that didn't like Williams. I'm an advocate of Williams. I think he's an excellent player. But, for instance, I did many a stream with Lee Gunner, big up yourself, mate, who has never been a big fan of his, watches a lot of La Liga, doesn't think he is of the standard that Arsenal require, thinks there are better options out there. And there are many Aguna that think that way. So there will be some this morning that are seeing this news and thinking, great, fantastic, this is brilliant. The same, and you always get this dichotomy within a fan base, and it's good to have, especially from a conversation piece. There are Man United fans happy that we're not going to get Gyökeres, don't really rate him. There are Gooners now that are suddenly frustrated because they didn't want Gyökeres, and over the weekend, it was seemingly looking like he was the guy you were going to get. But it's about having backup options. It's about having somebody else that you can turn to IR. It's about having somebody else that you can say, well, he might work, or that would be a great option. I really think Anthony Gordon could be the ticket for you. Now, I know Newcastle fans will say, impossible, we won't sell, stop talking about our players. I've been watching a lot of Newcastle streams the last week. You man are talking about a lot of players at other clubs. So stop being a man child and accept the fact that you talking about other people's players, and I've seen your guys' streams, I've seen your journalists, I've seen everything. You guys don't call that out, but you call it out when people talk about yours. Stop being babies. Do you know what it is about Newcastle? It's one of the toughest, most resilient, most wonderful cities I've ever been to in my life. Reflect the brilliance of that city by being a bit stronger, as the people of Newcastle are. Get it done. Terry, do you think we can pull Rafinha to Arsenal? Well, that's also an interesting take because they play similar positions. And David Ornstein alluded to that in his piece. They have struggled to be able to register people. So you may find, if they go for Nico Williams, that Rafinha, I mean, they fought tooth and nail to have Dani Olmo in the team. Yamal's playing on that right-hand side. That's his position now down. You may find that they cash in on Rafinha at this point and cash in on him at the peak. Again, sometimes it's a gamble again, but sometimes you cash in at the peak of a player's powers when their price is high, their stock is high, and you fetch good money for them. Sometimes as much as you want to keep your best players as long as possible, sometimes it makes sense to, especially if they're not your best player. So, for instance, Liverpool keeping Salah makes sense because there's barely a player in the world of his level, even now. So you sell him, you're only going to regress in that position. You can't find someone as good as him who's attainable. So you may be better off building other areas, like getting in prolific nines and verses, so that when he does move on, there's other positions of world-class talent, and then you can bring in a very good replacement for someone who isn't as good. It balances the field. Now, Rafinha, as brilliant as he is, he's more replaceable than Yamal, as an example. So they may think, well, we can get the long-term replacement for Rafinha sorted now by selling him, registering Nico Williams, probably making a bit of a profit when you look at the two differences in sales, because he's the cheaper. They're making more money than they're selling. They're bringing a bigger income in, and then looking towards building up an investment to a new number 9, whether it's this summer or next. So they can look at it both ways. Why are teams waiting on Arsenal to pick a striker first before moving, Terry? Because as much as rival fans don't like to hear it, it's so obvious. Šeško and Gyökeres both want Arsenal first. That's the teams they want to go and play for as their priority. So they're waiting. Because they're waiting, it creates a domino effect. Man United are then waiting before moving on because Gyökeres is now our number 1 choice after missing out on the lap. Liverpool are trying to get Wirtz and Kerkez done. Then they're going to move on to a striker. They probably won't wait as much. However, their number 1 link striker at the moment is, well, Šeško's quite high, but the other guy is Ekitike. Now, that may change things because if Liverpool suddenly start making a noise around Ekitike, but Man United are more advanced, they may go, right, let's just trigger this quickly and get it done. So they walk away. But there's this element of Ekitike. I'm only going by the news stories. I'm not in the know here. Ekitike doesn't look like it's completing anytime soon. No one is chasing Šeško and Gyökeres to a point where they're above or ahead of Arsenal in the race right now. No one else is in for Mateta, so there's no rush for anybody to move on to him. And who are the other number 9s that are linked with moves away from their respective clubs this summer? No one's made a big move for Jonathan David right now. So the point I'm making is that you're in this position where there isn't any need for Man United to walk away at this particular moment. They're doing groundwork on other strikers, groundwork on other attackers, but there isn't the necessity to walk away and trigger a move for another player because Arsenal haven't come to a resolution yet. But should Liverpool start moving towards Ekitike, should suddenly AC Milan, I'm plucking them out the sky, by the way, they start making a move for Mateta, suddenly Man United's mindset will change because, hang on, the backup options are starting to go. It's a little bit like Arsenal when it comes to Rodrigo. If Nico goes and Sane is gone, they get to a point where they even need to move on to another target very quickly and get it done because their backup options are going, or their second and third choice options are going, or they take the gamble of waiting. And that is, for me, I don't know about you guys, that is the beauty, the wonder that I love about the transfer window, because it's so up and down. There's so many if, buts, and maybes. There's so many different ways and directions that these deals can go. Love it. Absolutely love it. Terry, we can sell Frankie de Jong if Arsenal offer enough. Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to go in for him now. I think that has sailed, you know. Terry, what are you yapping? Do you think Barca will sell Rafinha when he's about to be captain of the club? Listen, I'm just spitballing here with the viewers and the audience. I'm going off something that was said about the position that he plays in, and I'm talking about the position he holds within the team. And if Barca are struggling, they really want Nico Williams, that's an option. And clubs have done this in the past, where you sell a player at their peak, you get maximum money, it frees up the space in your squad. I'm sure they'll look for other solutions because they'll want as top-heavy a squad as possible. And he's an excellent player. I didn't sit here and say it would happen. I'm just talking about a super chat from somebody and indulging in the conversation that is transfers with a fan about Arsenal going for Rafinha. I didn't say it would happen. I said this is a possibility. And you've got to remember this. This is what I'd say to you, Bish. Again, it's about critical thinking and being an adult. So the other day, I got called out. Terry, you said Gyökeres wants United, nobody else. I did and I didn't. I was giving a logical suggestion as to why nobody else was moving for Gyökeres. And that was that maybe he's picked Man United already. Turns out that isn't true, but it was still a logical suggestion. It was as opposed to no one's going for him because he must be a bust and it's a red flag, which I feel is far more far-fetched. Just like Osimhen. No one wants him, Terry. Yeah, PSG, Juve, Milan, United, Chelsea, Arsenal, they've all put inquiries in for him this week, but nobody rates him. The same as I just said there about Rafinha. I'm not saying it's going to happen or I think this will happen. It is a suggestion how Rafinha could become available for Arsenal. It's a logical suggestion. And it's not illogical that the player gets annoyed that someone comes into his position. It isn't illogical that Barca have to raise funds to register Nico Williams if they sign him. And because he's been a player that's been on the precipice of that before. So it's not illogical. It's a suggestion to a comment, but it's not me stating this is what I think will definitely happen. You've got to learn to differentiate between those two things, especially in the chat of a YouTube channel. It's spitballing, it's brainstorming, it's football fans having conversations out loud. Stop being so aggressive. Stop being so angry. Please stop watching the stream. Come back another time, but go out, touch some grass, get some fresh air, listen to the birds sing. You're not happy. Go and make yourself happy, brother. Go do it. Weird having an open mind now, but when I suggest in Burmo might change his mind due to Frank, you weren't so open-minded. But this isn't true, Nicholas. I have said there's a chance that he changes his mind. I'm logical about that. So again, you're not telling the truth, Nicholas. I said there's a 10% chance. That was my percentage that he changes his mind. Remains the same. The reason why my mind hasn't been changed to a bigger percentage is because every single story coming out is that isn't true. For instance, if there was 4, 5, 6, 7 stories from leading journalists that Rafinha will leave no matter what, that wouldn't be a logical suggestion from me. The reason I gave it as a logical suggestion is based on what I've read in 2 different articles, that they play similar positions and they can't register and they might need to raise money. And Rafinha's name's come up twice. Also, what I've said is there's a chance that Mbeumo does go to Spurs, 10%. Plus, if Man United can't come to a deal with Brentford, then I think that chance increases massively. So 1, I didn't say it was illogical and couldn't happen. 2, I've said why I think it could happen to Tottenham. So this idea that I disregarded it is a ball-faced lie. It's a ball-faced lie. But there is a difference in this. You've had leading journalists like Ben Jacobs say the player is still fully prioritizing Manchester United. The player himself, listen to the interview at the Formula One, you can hear it in his voice. Doesn't sound like there's any suggestion right now that he's going to Tottenham, but I remain. There's a possibility that happens. And by the way, I wouldn't have even brought Rafinha to Arsenal up if one of you lovely viewers hadn't have commented on it. It wasn't even in my mind, but I was respecting the super chat. Come on now, calm down. But thank you, Nicholas. Thank you. I can't see many transfers completing first week of July with the Club World Cup and players on holiday. Deals may be agreed, but announcements another thing. Well, look, Jamie, the announcements will also be dictated slightly by what's going on in relation to the player's life. Are they on holiday? Is a club at the Club World Cup interested in them? When the clubs want to register? So the new financial year for a lot of clubs is the 1st of July. It's very well reported that the reason why Zubimendi hasn't completed at this point is he had the international break. Now he's on holiday. He's going to resolve it when he comes back. But also Sociedad want the deal to appear in next year's accounts for some tax purposes. And Arsenal have agreed to that. It's about good relations. So there's all these reasons that really are important, more important than appeasing fans in the short term, I think. Terry Real Madrid are shaking when they hear Nico Williams is joining Barca. They know he's a problem when he's playing with his close friend Yamal and Pedri. I can't wait for El Clasico. Yeah, El Clasico is going to be amazing. I can't wait for it either. I really, really can't wait for it either. Do I think 60 million for Mbeumo is a fair price? Yeah, I'd go as high as 70 million. I think he's a fantastic player. Output, consistency, physicality, brilliant age, Prem proven. Fantastic player. When you consider the price of others, just go and look how much Max Kilman was sold for. Then yes, I do. Yes, I do. Sesko renewed his contract last year, and they are selling him. Renewed contracts mean nothing. Well, they can mean little to nothing about staying forever. I mean, one of the reasons Liverpool fans are angry is that Trent didn't renew his contract and then get sold, right? So him renewing his contract wasn't about staying. It would have been about getting the money now. And that's why some players also do it, to get the club they're at as much money as possible out of respect. United will not even bid. Sorry. United will not even bid for Gyökeres, even if Arsenal don't sign Gyökeres. United fans are dreaming. They are still relevant. They have Cunha, and he will be United centre forward next season. Very good player, though, Cunha. Rate him a lot. Renewed contract means they can sell a player rather than leave on a free. No, exactly. I mean, it can mean they're staying for long, but it also protects them as an asset to the football club. But look, I want to thank you all very much for tuning in this morning. This is going to redirect you to our 11 a.m. show. Me and Mark Goldbridge live back here at 11 a.m. So I want to see you all back here then, people. That would mean a great deal to us if you could be here. But be here at 11 for the start of the show. We want to start the show big, powerful. It's only about a 40, 50-minute show with me and Mark, but loads to go through and loads to talk about. But listen, until next time, everybody, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again at 11 a.m. Peace.